Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 152. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm really grateful to have you on the Trading Fanatic channel. This video is coming in a little bit late. I had a little bit of a weekend off and I just got home an hour ago and right now ready to have a look at the markets, show up, and of course have our weekly session, right? You know, of course, in this video, we're going to have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and what we can potentially expect for the upcoming week. This one was an NFP week, and usually NFP weeks are a little bit tricky, a little bit manipulative, right? So I didn't trade on Monday and Tuesday. I took a loss on Wednesday on EU, right? And pretty much that was my only trade for the week, right? Pretty boring, but I was just monitoring, watching for it, and it just didn't provide anything. It was really sloppy for me. So usually, like my first tip is to be able to recognize when your pair or your instrument or the market overall kind of changes its rhythm a little bit, and you have to know when to step aside and protect your capital. Because of course there are times when the market is really going amazing, but there are times when it just kind of slows down. It gets a little bit more manipulated. So you either have to change your instrument and maybe go to another asset class or just take a break, right? Which is what I did. I just took Friday off and just got back home to have a look at the charts, right? So let's do it together. Of course, if you're new to this channel, it's all about trading. I share this weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and I'm going to be posting more educational content. I have a lot planned on, so make sure you're subscribed, turn on the notification bell, and without further ado, let's head into the video. Alright, as always, we're gonna get started with a Dixie, but before we do that, make sure to check out the amazing broker Forex.com. It is great. It has all the asset classes you wish to trade. It has amazing spreads, and they have a no commission account, but I advise to pick their eco account because you're going to pay a little bit of commission, but every single lot that you trade will go towards planting 10 trees. They are following up on their initiative and their processes on their website. So make sure to go down in my description, click the link, open an eco account, and let's trade. All right. So last week was NFP, right? So again, as I said in the beginning, a little bit sloppy, a little bit more difficult to trade. NFP came out, and we also have a couple of speeches, a couple of, again, developments. We have tension with the war as well. There are constantly new developments going on. Again, inflation, interest rates, a lot of speeches from central banks. So one is bullish, one is bearish. We have risk on, we have risk off. So slightly bit difficult actually right now to be trading currencies, right? Because we constantly have those shifts a little bit. And I have found that since like a couple of weeks, it got really hard for me, right? I find it really hard to sit down in the morning and say, all right, this morning I'm looking for sales. I have my zone of interest. I know where I'm going to short the market. That's it, right? No, every single morning is different. So we have to adapt to the intra-session momentum, which has been one of my most recent insights, right? So what I'm surprised to see right now is that actually, as forecasted, we had this overall range on the Dixie, right? Starting from this low to this high, right? We started initiating the pullback. And as you can see, we just pinked 50% to the pip. And right now we're starting to react, right? So the big question right now is this pullback completed? And can the Dixie start heading higher, or are we going to head a little bit lower, right? Well, potentially towards that range, because this is kind of the... Oops, what did I do? This is the rally base rally, right? So this is demand where really the market was pumped into the highs. So pretty much like 99.50 is where we can potentially see the price. But right now we tapped around 101.50, right? We rejected. And what we're seeing right now on the daily especially, which is really good, is that we're starting to see a little bit of a shift, right? But as I keep telling you every single week, we do not have really a complete reversal right now. So right here, we have this break of structure, right? Which is more or less like a trend change. So we have this pullback, and as you can see, this candle was bullish and it did not make a new lower low, right? It pulled back. So this is a clear lower high, potentially on the hourly time frame. We dropped to create a new lower low. And what we did by that time is we tapped the 50% and have a look later. 1-2 bullish days actually closing above this zone, right? And then what you see is that after we closed above this one, we also created new demand with this. We tapped inside, and on Friday, we actually had a nice response, okay? So what I need to see right now is whether this level will also break. Because again, what we have right now is a push, pullback, push, break, right? So what usually can happen on this occasion is we can have this, okay? But what I would need to happen is to see a tap, a new structure break right there, and then pretty much, okay, can I take both of those? This is pretty much your confirmed trend, All right, so lower low, lower low, break of structure, pullback, the market holds right there, then creates a new high, and then we can say, all right, the market is bullish. Okay, so again, if I go to the 4-hourly time frame, you're gonna see right now that we're kind of a little bit in the middle of nowhere. So yes, we broke the structure right there, we pull back, we broke up again, and then you can see massive bullishness, massive bearishness, right? So what do we do? Well, I don't know. But yes, pretty much right now it's a little bit tough, right? Because we framed that kind of a little bit of a reversal phase on the daily. The 4-hourly, of course, has shifted even from these kind of areas. We have this lower high, lower low, break, another break right now. So the 4-hourly kind of looks confirmed. But if you just look at where price is right now, well, it's pretty much in the middle, right? If I take an overall range like this, we're precisely a little bit above 50%, okay? And I don't have any clearing structure to either short or long from, right? So what I'm going to be looking for in the Dixie is let Monday play out. I also think we have bank holiday on Monday, and to potentially do something, right? We can seek some sort of liquidity, right? We can maybe even take out this low, right? So we can do something like this, maybe come in a little bit lower right there, then start to shift again. If this happens, then of course I'm going to be looking for longs. If you ask me for the shorts, yeah, personally, you can drop a zone like this, right? But this, according to me, is incorrect because yeah, this created a new high, and then pretty much this is a pullback. The pullback happened with a lot of momentum to the downside, but if the market comes in right there, I will not be taking a short. Well, I'm only gonna take a short if really like the hourly starts changing to the downside from this zone. But again, this zone is not strong, right? This is a daily zone, which I believe is stronger. So I am looking a little bit more bullish than bearish on the Dixie, right? So this is my current outlook. I don't want to like draw any conclusions, of course. Let's see each other again on Tuesday for the Flow with the Markets Tuesdays. But this is currently how I view it, and more of a daily analysis, right? Not that much of 4-hourly, because yes, we tapped already inside this zone, and as you can see, probably the 50-minute is starting to shift already to the upside, but I'm not just gonna jump in on Monday and say longs from right there. Okay, we need to see a little bit of more of a development, so let's be patient and let's see. But again, according to my rules, we have pulled back towards 50%. We actually tapped in demand zone that I actually showed you in the last analysis, right? So right now we're starting to build a little bit of a bullish flow. So I do think if really we hit that risk off perspective, we can again start continuing trading higher. So let's see. Having a look at EU on the weekly time frame, we are, as you can see, we're not having a great week. It's kind of, yeah, it opened, push down, push up, and overall indecision, okay? But again, if we start framing the weekly bias, we have this very nice push to the downside. The market has pulled back, guess where? Pinging the 50%, right? And we immediately reject it from that area. Monthly time frame as well, it's kind of starting to open up. I really don't like this pin bar, right? They're coming in from the downside. But what I like is that it kind of created right there perfectly equal lows. So I do think we can definitely smash through, which is 1.0350-ish, right? So this can be a potential target. Going to the weekly back in again, we can see that pretty much we have like a week of range, again, a week of range. Then from here, this is where we really pumped the move lower, right? So if you actually use that drop base drop, right, or you just draw a supply right there, this is where the move happened. And as you can see, this is where we came in, right? If we go to refine this a little bit on the daily, we can see that we did not go too far, but for me, it's actually enough just to ping the 50%. And what I see once again is if you look carefully, where did the move actually start? It's from that wick right there, which we can of course explore on the 4-hourly. And what I really like about this one right now is that we're kind of being given this bearish shift on the daily. I just want to drop this demand because this can be potentially where the market can find support next. But we had this high created right there, and then after this we have this massive bearishness, right? The daily did not close with a body, which I do not love. But nowadays, nothing is perfect, so you have to adapt a little bit. And what we have right now is this pullback, kind of. So I'm really curious, once again, to see whether this one will hold and create a new lower high, okay? We framed that bullish bias on the Dixie. We're very nicely framing right now a bearish bias on EU, so I really hope this actually plays out, right? If we drop to the 4-hourly time frame right now, things become a little bit trickier. So we had this high, the market actually shifted structure right there. Potential shorts to be taken right there, but probably did not provide an entry. There was, I think it was that day that I tried to short. Yeah, first and the third. Yeah, this was Wednesday. I actually shorted the market right there, but it provided a long and it went short. Yeah, so I shorted the market, I think from somewhere right here, right? Then I actually got stop loss. Some members of my community took a long from right there, so we kind of got a little bit different analysis. Then you can see manipulated again, and we had the news, and then I think during New York we just blew it. But this was the only short. This is the only trade I took. It was somewhere right there, right? The short trade. So right now back to the 4H. What we see is that, again, if we ask ourselves, okay, where is the major lower high? Well, according to me on Friday, I just did a quick analysis on Friday in the morning. It was that one, right? But we actually just blew through it. Okay, but then what I did is I explored the 8-hourly time frame, and I saw this, right? This is the last zone, like this is the last resort, right? So if this one fails, then we definitely turn bullish. And then I thought, okay, well, maybe what I'm seeing right here is just flat highs, right? Manipulating above these flat highs. That's, we're pretty flat. Tap inside perfectly, and right now we kind of gave this very nice bearish candle right here. But again, the 4-hourly structure is not perfect, right? If you ask me, okay, where are you going to take a short from right now? Well, I don't know. I don't have a level yet, right? I would either need to see like a pullback, a strong push to the downside to create that level right here, so then I can short from it. Of course, if you right now drop to the hourly, right, you see we had potential short right here, right, during New York. So shorts are already going on. I think I later journaled there was actually one nice trade, precisely this one right there at 130 was the only short trade that I saw on Friday. I was just checking the charts, but yes, so I am overall framing a short bias right now for EU. But again, as I said, similar to the DXY, I would need to see some development, right? Because what we can also do is we can manipulate above the highs, then shift the structure. Then I'm gonna go short all in, right? Because I have a fresh zone. But right now I don't really have a fresh zone. I don't like this big bearish and then followed by a massive bullish momentum, right, to the upside. So I'm gonna give it some time. But overall, framing the bullish dollar and the bullish bias on the Dixie and potential shorts on EU. I hope this one plays out, so let's see. But again, give them both some time. Let's have a quick look at Euro Yen. So the JPY pairs are again exploding, and this is because of USD Yen. We picked in that bullish USD Yen again, and all the Yen pairs are of course more bullish, right? So what we have, of course, is we had that pullback. We had then 2 weeks of a slowdown, and as you can see right now, it just takes 1 week to blow everything up. Break structure as well, create a new high, right, and start heading towards the highs right there of 2015. Okay, so pretty much for me, the next potential liquidity spot will be this, which is 141. So that could be a great target for EJ, and we pretty much have just around 80 pips towards this one, so I definitely think we can head for this. So hopefully some of you are longing the yen pairs, right? Because you can see straight bullishness, right? Since the 26th of May, boom, 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 printing bullish candles every single day. Right now, we just took the liquidity above this high. So can we start initiating a pullback? Okay, well, pretty much my daily range is going to be this one. This is where we kind of consolidated and started impulsing to the upside. And if I drop to the 4H, we can have it kind of provided a few little pullbacks, right? So we had this push, pullback right there. Beautiful to catch into longs. Another push, another little range, another push, very little range, pushing again. So again, this is why I don't like yen pairs, guys, honestly, because when they start trending, they just don't stop, right? And usually in order for me to get in, I would like to see price pull back a little bit. But when those things starts to move, they just go, right? Look at that. They just go, right? They just give a little bit of a slowdown, push, little bit of a slowdown, push, little pullback, push, right? Pullback, push. It kind of requires a slightly different approach. Okay, so what can I say about these ones? Well, yeah, they're just pumping. So if you, of course, have a kind of a trend following strategy that doesn't require any pullbacks or anything like this, then yeah, maybe you can just trade above the highs, right? You can just do breakout trading. So closing above, of course, you go stop loss below and then you just target the highs. But yes, I will personally be looking for any sort of a pullback potentially on the daily. But if the market continues to pump, right? So yeah, the most recent demand is this, right? So if you pull back towards this one, then if you're interested, then you can of course look for a little shift maybe on the 15-minute time frame and go long towards 141. And of course, what you can do is also wait for a lower level, which looks a little bit better. Okay, so this is my analysis on Euro Yen. Nothing too much to say about the yen pairs because they all had an expansive week, right? So they kind of all look extended, but they can continue to climb until they reach like a liquidity spot. Which according to me for EJ is going to be 141. Okay, so if you get an opportunity to long into 141, definitely do so, right? Let's have a look at the Aussies, starting from AU. So overall on the weekly time frame, we are bearish and we have a very nice candle, right? The wick is bigger than the body, which I really like, and it signifies rejection, right? What we did is we threw a little bit of a liquidity gap above this high, which we're going to explore on the daily and the 4H. And if I just plot the weekly range, spot on, right? 50%, a little bit above rejected. So again, we can see kind of the pairs are starting to position themselves a little bit towards reversing again. We see like DXY getting ready to long, Euro USD potentially short. Aussie dollar is also not looking very bad. What I want you to pay attention to as well is how the market climbed to the downside, right? Very strong, and look what it did to the upside. Very kind of weak, very sloppy, right? We pushed up, but what we have right now is a little bit of a problem. Well, it's not a problem, it's just going to require a little bit of patience, is that the overall market right now is just bullish. Okay, daily is bullish and 4 hourly is also perfectly bullish, right? It was a tricky week. I hope you would agree that the Aussie traders, yeah, not the best, right? We had a very nice break of structure right here. So technically right now we are bullish. There is our demand zone. I'm going to take it like this. You can take the whole candle. It gets a little bit bigger. So I take this candle combined with the wick. You can only take the wick. Yeah, it's definitely up to you, right? So this is how I look at it right now. Of course, we can drop our range. We're just tapping 50%. So if this market comes in right there, I do think you can take a long provided the opportunity, but don't go like for a huge high. Just take your profits, like whatever risk to reward you can get, like 5, 4, 5. And then let's see how it's going to start shifting. Okay. We cannot call this market bearish right now, just basing it on this little liquidity gap above, right? Yes, after we take out the high, we expect a pullback. The pullback is happening. I like the bullishness right there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, right? And on the pullback, we have more candles, which means that the momentum is to the upside. So I would also give this one a little bit more time. Okay, I cannot short it right now simply because I don't have any kind of clean levels. You can, of course, trade the pullbacks. Like you can short this, for example, towards the downside. As the market started flipping down, you can, of course, short it. But right now, we tap 50%. So what you should be looking technically, if you follow a strict plan, is longs. Why? 4 hourly is bullish, push, pullback 50%, so you should start be positioning yourself to take longs, okay? But of course, if the market closes below this level this week, then definitely we can turn bearish, okay? So once again, give it some time, right? Give it some time to open up, to show you what it wants to do. We can get a short opportunity even earlier, okay? But of course, I really need to see a little bit more confirmation first, right? And currently we are bullish. And yeah, what we have on AJ is, again, as I told you, JPY pairs are expanding, right? Weekly time frame, massive engulfing candle. Well, yeah, it's not an engulfing candle because, yeah, pretty much it just opened and it pushed. It didn't engulf the previous candle. So yeah, just a nice bullish candle. Potentially headed towards making a new higher high. So can we call a short AU? Not really, all right? But of course, let's not look too much into correlation. Technically, this one shifted on the daily, right, from this high, right? So we can drop this little guy right there and see whether it's going to hold, right? If this one holds, then also AU can start flipping to the downside. But yes, currently, again, it's just bullish. We took out this high, so we can expect a little bit of a rebound. Of course, similarly to EJ, we have that daily range, which is way too far away from where we currently are at. And yes, the most recent range is this right here. So yes, technically, if you again keep it simple, what is the bias? Bullish. Why? The 4 hour is trending up. Where do I want to long from? Well, I want to see a 50% tap, which we do not have yet. And yeah, so how this one can develop is we can initiate a pullback towards the downside, just tap 50%, then we can make a new higher high. If we start bullish towards this level, then I'm going to be looking for the market to shift on the 4 hourly in order to start taking shorts. And of course, this one can just break through this level, because potentially if this right there is a weekly higher low, then potentially we can attack the higher high on the weekly. Okay, so those are the 3 outcomes that I have for Aussie JPY. I'm not trading JPYs right now. Maybe I should because they're beautifully trending, but of course this market is currently bullish. So if you can catch any longs, this will be higher probability. Next are the NZDs, which are pretty much as usual the same as the Aussies, right? This one is even a little bit more bearish than the Aussie. It doesn't have a 50% pullback yet, right? Which is not a big problem, right? But yeah, pretty much we cannot say that this is going short yet, right? We just took out this high, which is pretty similar to the Aussie. We had a rebound, we pushed up and again, we took out then these highs right here, right? And right now we have this very nice last day, which is showing a very nice rejection. So if we break below this zone, that is when we can call it bearish, okay? So, and I'm pretty much utilizing the overall sentiment because we can see that the Aussie kind of tapped 50%. It's starting to shift in a little bit, and knowing that the NZD is a little bit more bearish than the Aussie, if the Aussie turns, this one is going to follow up immediately, okay? But currently, technically, again, we are still bullish. Why? Because we had this low, we had this push. The market didn't really break with a nice body, right? Which is not a big problem, but currently this is our last higher low, right? This is our last range. So as long as we are within this range, we are bullish, okay? So if you can try to catch any longs from current price, maybe if the hourly time frame or the 50-minute starts to change very nicely up, you can start taking longs, okay? But I would prefer to have a little bit of a deeper pullback right there, then shift on the 4-hourly or on the 1-hourly time frame, and then just take a long. Okay, and again, as is similarly to the Aussie, don't target like the highs, right? Just take your profit. If you get like a 4 to 5 hour, take your profit, because these ones can reverse at any time, right? We have been trending to the upside for quite a while. We took out this liquidity point right there. The Aussie is already at 50%, right? So I do think NZD might create another push to the upside, but again, if the Aussie turns, then this one is also going to turn. So watching out this major range right there, and as long as price is within it, and let's see what's going to happen. Currently, again, longs are high probability. And yeah, again, NJ, it's impulsing very strongly into the highs. Do we know whether it's going to break this high? Nope, right? We can, of course, expect it because the weekly has created a potential higher low, right? Daily time frame is just kind of slowly climbing towards the upside. And we have kind of the same level right there that actually reversed the market. So we had this kind of a whack off, right? I really don't know much about it, but again, we have kind of a couple of drives into the highs, then the final one, and then we shift structure to the downside. I'm not sure whether this level tends to get retested, so then we can have a sell-off from there. I don't know, right? But I would at least expect this one to take a little bit more liquidity, at least above this high right here, which we kind of... Okay, we came so close to it, okay? 4-hourly time frame, nothing much as well, right? It's just bullish. There is our last higher low formation. So as I keep saying, trade with the current trend, okay? It's bullish right now at a higher high, so it doesn't make much sense to go short, because for shorts you need to see the market shift bearish, which we it's kind of ranging, so we don't have that right now. And for longs, you would like to trade from a higher low, which we do not have yet as well, right? If the market impulses like this from here, then you can of course take a trade like this, but currently all the JPYs require a little bit more time because all of them are kind of at the higher high, chopping around a little bit. So I'm either looking for a pullback or another impulse into the highs, right? So those are the NZDs, keeping it very simple. After 3 weeks of a pullback, and what I also told you last week is that I was liking the lack of momentum of this pullback, right? I told you that there are wicks to the downside, right? Showing us rejection coming in, right? So buyers are stepping in, and they just unloaded this week, right? So right now I do think we're definitely headed for a new higher high. I don't think it's gonna stop right there in the reverse. So again, the JPYs are probably gonna go higher, but they are gonna struggle if their main pair, for example, if Euro turns bearish, Euro JPY is gonna struggle to turn bullish, right? But definitely UJ is gonna attack this high, okay? And yeah, pretty much, not sure where we opened on the 30th, bullish, like parabolic, right? A little bit of a stop right there, and then again, NFP actually send the market higher. And yeah, you can see again, if you spotted the shift from early on, which according to me, the real shift happened right here, because this is a major lower high, lower low, this is a lower high, kind of chopped around, right? This is the break, so this is an opportunity to take right here, push, and then again, as you can see, it's a JPY pair. It doesn't give you much entries, right? It just keeps going. You had one right there, which is beautiful. And right now we have a new break of structure with a new overall range, which is right there. So if you get anything like this, then definitely longs towards, what is it? 131.50, right? Round number. Let's drop it in like this. This is a potential target. Okay, so I'm bullish on USDN, and I was also bullish on Dixie. Yeah, the Dixie does have JPY inside, doesn't it? I think it does, right? So we should start seeing a little bit of a more of a bullish Dixie. So let's see how this works out. But yeah, USDN is bullish, so nothing much to say about it. I would love to see a little bit of a pullback to potentially jump on the train if I was trading this pair. All right, let's have a look at the GBPs, starting from GU. So we're having a very nice bearish week. It's not like a nice engulfing candle, like closing below the full candle of the previous week, but pretty much to engulf the body, it showed us some nice bearish sentiment. Okay, the question is this pullback enough for us to start creating a new lower low? Well, I don't know, right? Nobody knows. Of course, I can have this little weekly supply right there, but what matters to me is what the market is doing right now. Okay, on the daily time frame right now, we are starting to, but not yet, because we had this push right there. The market rejected, it pushed higher, but look at the momentum. I was seeing this one struggling to break higher, like mini candle, mini, expanded again, pulled back, and potentially right now we are about to make a new lower low, maybe. Okay, so this one was my higher low. Probably linear on the hourly time frame. Yeah, on the hourly we had a few more, so we shifted the structure right there. Lower low, lower high, short, push, pull back, another short right on Friday. Shorts were nice, but yeah, so we are starting to see a little bit of a bearish sentiment kicking in on this one. So I'm curious to see whether we're gonna get a confirmed lower low right there. So if I drop to the 4H, we kind of already have this bearish bias. Why? Well, because we shifted. Technically this is the shift right here, because this is the push high, this is the pullback. So from here, if you just follow structure with me, we have this push, pullback, push, pullback, right? So this right there is, everything is complex until we actually stay, as long as we stay above this one, we are bullish right there. But the market again showed us a failure to break above, right? And right here we shifted, then we pulled back, created the lower high. So right now potentially we're headed for a new lower low. Okay, so I'm kind of seeing that the overall bearish bias. We also had this level that we're respecting. Right now we are moving towards the downside. So again, I am kind of framing a bearish bias on GBP, right? Do we have a clean level to sell from? Well, what I see right now is that we left a big wick right there. So I would have to explore this on the lower time frame, which is, this hourly big buy, which is the NFP, and then the sell-off, all right? So again, if the GBP, by any chance, it starts with a bullish pullback towards this zone, then I will be looking for a shift and then potentially attacking the lows, right? So I'm framing a bearish pound. I was looking at the news. There's some negativity going on about Mr. Boris Johnson. Not sure what he's doing, but I think he's causing the pound to plummet a little bit. But let's see, right? Let's see, of course, if the Dixie starts to push higher. If you were to reverses, I do think the pound can also start going lower. What I like is that we took liquidity above this high. Okay, so we're not really needed to go right there if we took a little bit of liquidity right here. Okay, we see the candles as well. We see kind of at first it was this bearish candle, but then we really unloaded down, pull back. And right now, again, it's also, it's not an inside bar, but we took out the previous daily high, which is what GU tends to do. And potentially right now we're headed into the lows. Okay, so I'm framing an overall bearish bias on GU. And of course, if we start bullish, if we start with a pullback, I do think we can be looking for shorts around right there. Okay. GJ is going to be a problem because of the bullish JPY, right? Or the bullish USD JPY, I should say. Overall, we had this pullback towards 50%, and right now we are in this push phase. So again, this pair, I do think it's going to enter into another range, right? Because if USDN is up, but GU is down, then this one is going to have a hard time. And if you actually have a look at the candles, right? The candles are not great. They're very small, very, kind of creating wicks on both sides. So really just looking at this daily structure, it's a bit hard. The lower high looks like this, but it also can be this. So it's kind of hard, right? Sometimes I would go to the line chart, and pretty much the last clear V shape that I see is here. So technically right now we're shifting a bit bullish, right? But it's not the best, right? I do think we can head above these wicks to take the liquidity above. and then see what's gonna happen. But currently in terms of daily, I cannot really frame a nice bias. It's more bullish, of course, than bearish. And of course, on the 4-hourly time frame, we were in this big range, right? And then we started to kind of slow. You can see push, pull back again, push, pull back, push. So GJ is nicely trending. I know a lot of you trade GJ with support and resistance and breakout. It's a great pair to do so, okay? But yes, currently, as I said, we are overall bullish. So this is my last hour low right here, because we pulled back, we pushed up. It's not with a lot of momentum, so I don't trust it as much. We have another one right there, right? And we have, of course, the last one right there. So GJ is not my favorite pair at the moment. I would much prefer to trade GU if I'm looking to trade the GBPs. But overall, again, GJ is bullish. USD yen is bullish, so be careful with shorting this one, right? While GU is, as you can see, look at the bearish momentum, right? We don't have this one on GJ right there. It's perfectly bullish, but also it's not as bullish as, for example, USD yen is, right? Can we compare them? Yeah, well, kind of, but you get the point, okay? So be careful with GJ. It's, again, as I said, overall bullish, so longs are high probability, as are all the JPY pairs. Let's have a quick look on gold, which had a overall, indecision weekly candle, right? But we took out the previous weekly high and the previous weekly low, which is nice. So a lot of liquidity has been taken. The most recent upside range right there is still holding. So if I take it like this, maybe minimize it a little bit like that. We held from this zone. We haven't yet broken below this one, which is 1780, right? A nice round number. But again, I see this very sharp bearish pressure and this is kind of a pullback right now. So again, I've told you many times, it makes a lot of sense for gold to go down, right? In what is currently happening in the market and in the macro economy, okay? So what we did is we kind of shifted a little bit bullish, but it was very weak. So we took out the weekly high, which was this one right now, and we're rejecting very strongly. And if I go to the 4-hourly time frame, well, yeah, it was a bit tough to trade, but what we spotted from here is that bearish shift, right? So hopefully some of you were taking shorts in these kind of regions, riding it to the downside, but then what we did is we shifted bullish, okay? So currently my higher low demand is this. As long as we remain above this, well, I will be bullish, but I do think we're gonna break. So if I have something like this, response, break, I would then short it like this, okay? So this is my simple outlook on gold. I am overall bearish, right? I do not trade gold, so don't listen to me too much. I'm just thinking about it in terms of the macro perspective of the market, the currently like risk on off, people putting money into the dollar, right? The stock market falling is also gold doesn't look like a great investment, doesn't it? Does it? So yeah, I will be looking for shorts like this, but first for me, I would need to see this break of structure, a retest, and then potentially we can start targeting the lows. And of course, I would appreciate your feedback on gold. I always listen to you in the comments. After last week's bullish optimism, are we ready to fall lower? Well, I don't know, right? We never know. But what we can see is that we're having an overall bearish candle, but it's not very, very weak, right? So there is still some sort of an indecision going on. We're still waiting for more like developments in terms of the economy and the stock market, of course. We know that the stock market is not really determining the economy, right? So they're not as correlated as we think they are, right? But of course, right now we have an overall bearish market across the indices. And yeah, well, we're still holding below this zone right here, which I have just let stay right there because I'm looking only at the macro side of indices. I'm currently training to also start trading some indices as well during US session. But yes, right now what we can see is the market is failing to make a new high, right? And if we explore the structure on the 4H where we had this demand, right? So the market tapped inside. Then this candle right there confuses me a little bit, right? Because it kind of wicked below the demand and then it pushed up. It kind of looks like it broke structure, but not really, right? So I'm really a little bit confused right now. So when I'm confused, I usually don't trade because again, you can say, all right, so this is a break of structure right now. There is a body close, so I'm going to go long from this wick, right? But also it's not a significant break as much, right? So what I'm going to be looking for confirmed sales is really a nice break of structure to confirm a nice lower low and then potentially see a clean area to get in and then go lower, right? Or of course, if the market decides to turn bullish, then I will need to see another expansion higher, right? And then of course a pullback, okay? But overall, I am bullish on the indices, bearish on the indices. Overall, I do expect another drop, right? So Bears are actually higher probability, as I said. Nasdaq, same situation. So I really like this bullish bearish formation. So we kind of had a little bit of a pullback, potentially inducing early sellers, right? Or yeah, people thinking, oh, we're starting to reverse. Then we had this beautiful bullish candle. Then after this bullish candle, people think, oh, we're going long, right? And then afterwards we have this bearish candle. All right, I really like this formation because it just signifies manipulation, right? So we broke the high right now. So in order for me to really say that this market is bearish, I need to see this low go as well, right? Because currently within that low, which is similar to US 30 right there, we have demand, right? So what I need to see is either just to break, right? Or for it to react, fail to cause a new higher high, break, retest, and then I'm gonna short the pair, right? Or the index, I should say. So yes, this is my outlook on Nasdaq. I am again overall bearish on the indices. I do expect another drop to the downside. And yeah, but first I will need to see the 4 hourly to really align bearish, because we're not very bearish right now, right? In fact, the daily turned a bit bullish, but I'm not trusting it, right? I think it's a trap. And S&P as well, similar development. So we're still staying within this supply range right there. We did not push towards the 50%, came very close. It didn't take out the high, right? And I do think only Nasdaq took the high, but Nasdaq tends to be a little bit more manipulative, which is why I don't like it as much, right? You can see US 30 did not, Nasdaq did, and S&P also did not, right? I really like trading S&P, but S&P tends to be a little bit slower than the other ones, right? So I'm still gathering more and more data and testing it out. But the same thing goes in right there, right? Currently, this market is bullish. And if I just drop also this demand range, this was perfectly respected, right? You can see we tapped. Then this wick actually did not take out the low, right? And if I just go back to US 30, we took out the low, right? So you can see how different they are, right? But yes, currently I cannot really say what's going on, right? I am currently the market is bullish in terms of the intraday time frames, right? The fall is bullish, even the daily is turning bullish, right? But overall, we know in the macro that we can expect another drop, and I'm still waiting for my 37 target right here. So let's see if we can have another drop, right? We can, of course, have another push into the highs to take out the liquidity that is resting above these highs right there, because this high was untouched, right? It was only Nasdaq that took the high. So maybe only Nasdaq taking the high is enough for all the indices to reverse, because they kind of tend to correlate together. And if there is a kind of a crack in their correlation, so for example, Nasdaq did make that higher high, but those two did not, then of course we can expect something to happen. Okay, but again, according to me, I'm waiting for example, for a nice bearish trend to be introduced, and then potentially we can start shorting. Okay, crypto, nothing too much to say about cryptos, right? Massive push lower, and currently we are in this kind of an accumulation / distribution period. We had a little bit of a buy off right there, then we're back into the range, so it's gonna keep doing this, right? It's gonna keep doing this until something happens, and I don't know what that something is going to be that is going to shake the crypto market. But of course, right now we are resting. Okay, crypto is just, I would advise you for the crypto traders to go to another asset class. And also Ethereum, I'm still waiting for the break of 1700 right there. So I do think definitely this one is going to go. And as you can see, we actually pulled back towards this daily supply, tapped inside. So that one was probably a very nice short to be taken. And again, right now we're just kind of in the lower portion of the range. If you decide to just trend follow the hourly time frame, then you can go short from this zone. But all in all, I'm avoiding crypto for now. Indices are looking pretty good right now. So let's see if the indices are actually going to shift lower this week, so we can start shorting and of course buying more shares. All right. So guys, this weekly outlook was pretty fast, kind of straight to the point. I hope you loved it. Hopefully you are right now prepared for Monday. The market is opening in, I don't know, let me check, maybe another chart. Yeah, it's opening in a few hours, right? Usually it tells me how many hours there are until the candle opens. But yes, I wish you an amazing week. Right, NFP is over, the week is right now going on, so we have a whole month of June ahead of us. I have a couple of more trips planned, so I do think I'm going to be skipping the next weekly outlook because I'm not going to be able to record it, right? I might publish it on Monday or something like this, but yes, make sure to also enjoy some time off because it's definitely needed from time to time. And yes, talk to you on Tuesday's video.